Hi, Jacob Bach, greeting you from downtown Madrid, the Puerto del Sol. And as a lot of you know, we have a prayer and evangelism training center, and we get the privilege to be on the street preaching the gospel, open air, 6 days a week, 8 hours a day, and also have our prayer house open 8 hours a day. And what's happening is a new phenomena that we've never seen before, and we have a prayer room, and I'm about ready to tell people we need to be changing that name to the birthing room, but in a spiritual sense, because this is what's happening. We'll preach on the street, and then somebody will be interested in what we're talking about. We'll talk to them about Jesus, and then they'll say, can we have a coffee? So we bring them up to our coffee house, and after we talk to them a little bit there, I'll say, listen, let me pray for you, and then I'm going to invite you to go in to our prayer house. And so I'll pray for them. They'll go into the prayer house, and it just happened the other day to a young man. I said, how are you doing with the Lord? He lowers his head, he starts to cry, he says, I'm far away from God. I says, well, would you like to talk about it? He says, could we have a coffee? So we went up and had a coffee, and then I invited him to just go sit in the prayer house. And 40 minutes later, he comes out, he's got a big smile on his face, he says, I made peace with God. Nobody even had to pray for him in there, he just had an encounter with the presence of God. And it happened 2 weeks ago. Another person came up and said, that his life was in shambles, and I says, and he didn't have any Christian background, and I says, well, let me pray for you, and then just go into the prayer house and sit there. And he did, and he went in there, and about 45 minutes later, just the Spirit of God working in his life, and he came out and he was crying. He gave me a big hug, and he said, thank you so much. He said, I made peace with God. So it's just an amazing thing what God is doing. We're starting to see people get saved inside the prayer house, people that we've met on the street. I just encourage you, keep on praying for us. God's doing some amazing things here, and you guys get to be a part of it.